Hello, everyone. Welcome to the Shitty Questions podcast. Today we have Melissa and Anton,
Hello.
and I'm your other co-host, Unknown47. So, how's it going, guys? How we feeling tonight? We
I'm
vibing? We
feeling
got a
good. I'm vibing tonight. I got my alcohol here ready. How are you doing, Beans? Or
I
Anton?
am on I am on crack. Like I'm really hyped up for some reason, like really
just
like exhilarated.
just a big old honking wide of crack. Just red
Yes.
balls.
uh
Well, since Valentine's Day is coming up, I did want to do something special where we talk about like a side of Valentine's Day and maybe not a positive one. Let's talk about the
Ooh,
negative side of Valentine's Day. So, Anton,
sure.
Okay.
um,
Yes.
do you want to start this one off?
Yeah, sure. So today hasn't all been sunshine and rainbows actually. Uh Today my girlfriend actually broke up with me, which was wonderful because it was over text even. And I was just like, well, this sucks. I mean, it's not her fault. Her mental state is poor, but like I just feel like crap from that. But then I chugged like 4 energy drinks, and now I'm just on
That's the
crack.
way to do it.
Just like, yeah, let's go.
Let's
Yeah, and
go.
I
Let's
did
make a
14 hours of
podcast
work,
tonight.
so yeah.
You know,
How are
do
you
you
guys?
guys think it's worse to get broken up over text or in person?
Depends on the situation.
Yeah, I would say in most cases, at least a phone call or in person.
Yeah,
If things have like started to like kind of fall off and both of y'all kind of realize that, um, then like a long drawn out one. Me personally, I just hate texting. Um, I might be a little old school on that, but
yeah.
I prefer the phone call. Um,
Well, phone calls are always better, even though they're awkward.
but if it's like a mutual understanding and you both kind of realize that you're kind of over it, I feel like a text isn't too bad. But like if it's a one-sided thing and like where one person isn't necessarily like over it or doesn't even know what's going on, I feel like it's better to do it in person, maybe even in a public space.
Ooh, I don't know about the public space setting. That could get messy.
Yeah, yeah, that's true. Yeah, because the public, now that you say that, yeah, because the public domain, the public eye would be like
This person's a
you
douchebag for breaking up.
you're personally or not purposely, you're purposely trying to save face so that way it's going to
Yeah,
be bad, but because you're doing it publicly, you're trying to
make yourself
make
look
it
better.
right. Yeah.
Ooh.
Yeah.
I had
Uh,
someone break up with me over Facebook before, but it wasn't like
Facebook.
a message or anything like that. Like the guy went on Facebook and just made a post about how he wanted to date someone new and put it on his storyline. So that was like a wonderful thing to wake up to.
Interesting.
Yeah, I don't know why he chose to go that route. Even a text message would have been better in that situation.
I mean, that's kind of cheesy. It's like I don't like this person anymore.
Yeah, he
It's
was
like
like
really?
confessing his love to the other person and being like, yeah, I don't, that girl means nothing to me. So yeah, I got to wake up and read that, and I'm like, that's just. I think out of all the breakups, that was the worst one. That's like the worst way someone has broken up with me.
I think the worst way someone's broken up with me is having their friend tell me, and it was like, what?
Ooh,
Oh yeah, that's kind of I feel
yeah,
like that's a shitty move.
bit cowardly.
I
I
mean, even a
remember,
text message.
right? Yeah, like just, have some decency. I mean, I get the um, the anxiety behind it
I
or,
mean, I might have a slightly intimidating personality, but like, it's not like I'm gonna kill or bite your head off. I'm just gonna be reasonable. geez, I'm
Right.
not gonna stab you.
Some
Like,
people just don't like
okay,
confrontation.
true, but it
And
doesn't
that's
mean
that's valid to an extent, yeah.
yeah.
Because like, if the person does have any kind of violent tendencies,
Well, yeah, that would make sense.
yeah.
But
But hey,
I've never done anything like that, so
sometimes you just don't know people either, because like everything
true.
could be fine and dandy, and then like, what? You're breaking up with me? And
I
then you
didn't
just
see
have
it
like,
coming.
right.
uh,
You
Then
know,
they get all like psycho and shit.
like in another way to look at it, how how easy is it or hard is it to ask someone out as well?
I mean, it depends on how much you like that person. Because if you really like that person, then you're gonna make yourself.
But does it make a
But if you're
difference if
like,
you ask them in person or over text?
uh, over text is like a little impersonal. Like, it's like, hey, you want to go grab a bite to eat? But if it's over, like in person, then it's a little more intimate. Like where it's like you want to go do something.
That's a yeah, it's a valid point. I remember like when I was in school and stuff, and like writing notes to ask somebody out.
The yes and no circle one.
Right,
Or it's
basically.
yes and it's like yes and yes. No, no other choice.
Oh yeah, when the people
Just
put
Yeah,
yes and yes.
like yes
that's
with one of
definitely
them.
creepy.
You
I
have to
remember
go out
one
with them.
time, I want to say it was in middle school, like there was this chick and she was single and I was single, and then somebody was like, "Hey, y'all should date." And we were just kind of like, "Eh." I mean, we were both like mutually like, you know, not really. And then we were like, "Okay." And then we dated for all of 10 minutes, and then she was like, "Yeah, I don't think this is gonna work." And I was like, "Yeah, me too." And then
Ah,
went
how did
about
those 10
went
minutes
about my
go?
way.
Yeah,
Oh yeah,
sure.
we were
How
both just
long?
kind of like, "Well, this is stupid. Like, we're not into each other."
Yeah. So what do we have in common? Nothing. Okay.
Oh, that's something. Dating
So
someone
yeah,
that you'd have nothing in common with. You know how they say opposites attract? Is that
opposites.
I think
yeah?
that
Well,
applies to magnets.
well,
I mean, you
opposites
have a point.
attract, but they don't mesh.
They attract, but do they last together?
I mean, I guess there's a rare circumstances, but generally, I don't see it working for a
You
long
need to have
period of
like
time.
some kind of mutual interest.
Yeah, like, because if you don't have a mutual interest, then you know one of you is gonna have fun and one of you is not. Like, if you guys have a mutual interest, then you can do that for a date.
Right. I think it's okay to have like
Differences,
your
yeah.
yeah, your differences. Um, because if you have
Well, for
everything in
example,
common and then like everybody I could probably surely say that everybody wants their own like personal time.
yeah,
So if you have everything in common, then it's just kind of like,
there's
either
no
you feel
mystery, there's
obligated.
nothing new.
Right. Either there's, obligation to do it with the person, or the other person might get mad, or blah blah blah.
Yeah,
Um, I think the best kind of relationships are like, we're independent of each other, but like we all just generally
yeah,
enjoy spending time with each other or something like that.
yeah. Well, I think the dependent relationships where one person's independent and the other person's dependent won't last because the dependent person will put too much pressure on the independent person and then it will create a negative feedback loop that'll eventually come back to haunt you.
Yeah.
Oh, I agree with that. Yeah, I think there should be some kind of like balance between I guess like
Compromise.
maybe the level of busyness for each person has to kind of like balance. Like if you
Yeah.
have one person that's incredibly busy, doesn't have time for the other person, and then another person that just has all the time in
Has
the
all the free
world
time in the world.
and suffocates the other person. Yeah, there could definitely be an imbalance there.
Yeah. Like if you're working full time, but say the other person is like, I don't know, they have a part-time job and they play video games all day. Not saying that I do that or anything, but uh,
A
uh,
bum? Is that what you're referring to?
I actually worked 14 hours a day, and I'm proud of myself.
You know, he who brings home the bacon has the best breakfast. I just
True.
made that up. Um, I used
That's
to
pretty good.
could tell you where the saying "bring home the bacon," like how that started, but I can't remember. I guess that'll be a
Brings home.
topic for
Yeah.
another day.
Yeah. So, what is your guys' ideal relationship? Like, if you had like to choose who you'd want in your relationship, like the type of personality you'd want, what would it be?
Okay, I guess I'll go first. I've always thought I wanted an introvert, but I don't know. Lately, I noticed that I'm really talkative. So having another person that's like really talkative like me would help, but also someone that isn't outside all the time.
Yeah,
That I don't know if that just kind of
you're
sounds
more
like
of an indoors
opposites. Yeah,
person.
like an indoor person, but that could keep up a conversation. Like I've said
Yeah,
before, like on Tinder, one way I used to like eliminate people was I would look at who I could hold a conversation, and like looks didn't really matter that much. It was just like literally the person that
you
could
could
talk.
keep a
Yeah,
conversation. Yeah,
and
Right.
interesting as well, not annoying. I would keep that person, and then yeah, if you like literally weed them out, like you're left with like one or three people, because like most guys can't hold a conversation, and
yeah,
finding those are kind of rare. So that's kind of how I would do it. In the personality sense, like that's what I would look for. As far as looks, like I'm not gonna go into that one because that one gets really specific.
Yeah. Yeah.
How
I
about
would
you,
definitely
Eggman?
somebody, I guess, like that I might have already just answered this, but ideally someone who could spend time with but also have um like time apart. Um, have a shared
Yeah,
mutual like few topics, but like also is fine with like not being up each other's asses 24/7. And I'm not exactly a talker per se. When I drink, I do. I just want to talk, talk, talk. But because like I would consider myself like in between of like introverted and extroverted. Like I
yeah.
can adapt
Well,
to my
an
situation.
ambivert. Yeah.
Oh, yeah, I didn't know the term for that. Cool.
Uh,
Just a normal
yeah.
But
person.
Uh,
just
I
a normal
yeah, I
I
person.
think
definitely fall in that spectrum because going out for me, like going out a lot will overwhelm me, but also not having communication with people will drive me crazy.
yeah.
Yeah.
Well, for
Oh yeah.
me, I think I would want. I have the problem of like, I like to go with people that either have some sort of problem or like some weird quirk, and it's a horrible
Yes.
thing I should stop doing. But like, I don't know. Those
I think I
people
know what you
interest me.
mean
Mm-hmm.
because I think like I've also have had that kind of like thought like not exactly like I want to get with a broken person thinking I could fix them, but because
No,
you know there's some kind
I've
of
been broken
problem
before. Yeah,
like
yeah. Well, I
yeah,
would like to go with broken people for an example because like I've been super broken in the past and I understand how it is and I know how it feels like to be like that. And usually when you feel like that, you probably want someone to be there.
right. Someone who can understand what it's like in your shoes.
Yeah. and I like to put myself in other people's shoes because of that.
I hear that you like are attracted to what what you are. So you attract what you are. So if you find a broken person, they could remind you of themselves of yourself, and then you'll be drawn to them.
I guess that makes sense because I've also heard you also
Choose
like
what
can
love
end
what
up
you think you deserve. Go ahead.
dating someone like your parents.
Yeah,
Oh yeah, I've heard that one. Yeah,
dating people that
I've
you're
even heard like if you're at a party and you see someone wearing like a similar shirt to yourself, you'll
you're more likely to go talk to them.
well in a way you'll feel like you can relate to them even though you know nothing about this person except that they share the same shirt interest.
Right,
Yeah, in that aspect,
Yeah,
that's kind of how like how people meet each other as well. Like you'll see something in yourself in the other person, and that's what will attract you. And not like in the like I'm gonna date you attractive sense, but like in the I want to be your
right.
friend attractive sense as well.
yeah. I mean, for
And
looks, I
then
don't care. Go ahead.
there's also like the opposite that just because you do share a mutual like of something with somebody doesn't mean you'll actually work out as friends. They
Yeah.
could be
Well,
a
they could have a
super
different view of it.
demanding, yeah, or maybe y'all both love this one thing or fans of something and but this
Yeah.
person's actually just really shitty. Um, and they
Well,
like y'all
yeah.
just happen to like the same thing.
You know what though?
Like,
Sorry, I don't want to interrupt you, but
go
like
ahead.
I think that's the reason why dating sites don't work out very well is because you go off of that very vague list of things they like. You're like, oh, this person
Yeah.
likes the color red. They like this band. They like this music. This movie. Like we're really
Right,
similar to each other, and then turns out you're really not. As opposed to like meeting, like say, a coworker or a friend, you get to know each other to the point where you know you like each other, and it's not just that vague list of things that you share.
Yeah. Well, that's why
right.
online relationships usually end in a dumpster fire because, like, you guys can hit it off to begin with, like, for the first month or week, and then afterwards it just slowly deteriorates because you realize this person is not what you thought they were.
What's funny, I actually have a relative that met his girlfriend through online dating and like
Yeah.
shit, they've been together for years. But it's
Well,
funny
good for them.
because we come from similar backgrounds. So like when we would tell like family stories or whatever, she would be like, "Oh yeah, that sounds like an uncle I have," or she would tell a story and we'd be like, "Oh yeah, that sounds like Uncle Bo," and something of that. So she kind
Yeah.
of already had like a similar experience, and yeah, they're still
Yeah.
going strong. And they're also
Well,
like the kind of
yeah.
couple that's like independent of each other.
Well, that's good. I mean, I'm not saying that all online relationships are doomed, just the majority of them aren't what they
Oh
seem
yeah,
they are.
absolutely. I was never one for online dating. I remember the closest thing I ever did to online dating was this website called meetme.com.
Ooh, I
And this
remember
was
that.
back,
Yeah.
yeah, it was back in like the MySpace days. And
In the good old
like
days. Wow.
it was
Golden days.
it
Wow.
it was definitely a social media site, but I think it was like often portrayed as like a dating site. And
Yeah, it's like Tinder is a hookup app. Like it's portrayed as that, but it's not.
right. And I forgot where I was going with that. Um, but yeah, I just remember that site. And then like just trying to talk to people. But like I always had like a let's talk in person type of thing, which I
Yeah,
guess, if you're trying online dating in your town and then you meet in person or whatever, um, that's one
yeah,
thing. But I always just enjoy the typical like meeting somebody in person and like
yeah.
eventually becoming
It's that.
attracted to
Yeah.
each other.
Well, I like the thing like putting their arm around their shoulders or something like the cheesy stuff. I like doing.
Right. Old school style.
Yeah. I don't know. I'm like a cheese ball when it comes to relationships. I do the most cheesy things. Like, I don't know. It's just what I just think it's nice.
No, yeah, it's like it's a neat thing. You know, some people like it,
Yeah.
some people don't.
So, yeah. Everyone has their preference. Like, I know I heard Melissa talking about it a little while ago. She said she likes toxic people. And I'm like, okay.
I mean, I don't want to say toxic, but maybe the word mischievous is a better word.
Yeah. Like scandalous. Not like literally scandals, but like metaphorically.
Right.
I don't know.
Yeah.
I have a best friend that's kind of mischievous like me, and like, I mean, you guys have heard us some boys chat together. Like, we just click instantly.
Yeah.
Right. Until one day you're in trouble with the law.
I'm not that sort. Okay, that's like next level mischievous. Like, I don't know about that. Yeah, I just go on a date with
That's
a guy, and
Well,
next thing we know, we're like robbing a house. And I'm like, oh, it's, that's not what I
what a date.
meant.
yeah.
Oh, I didn't know we were gonna rob somebody on the first date. That usually happens on the third one.
Deal with it.
Yeah,
I
exactly.
mean, I'm not a
Promiscuous.
mischievous. I'm like experimentalist. Like I like to experiment everything and anything I can get my
Whoa,
hands on.
that sounds
Like
like with drugs.
no,
You're an
not like drugs, but
experimentalist.
like fire, explosives, uh, random
Hands.
shit,
I like
chemicals.
to call it hands-on learning.
Yes,
Making
woodworking.
potions in the bathroom.
Not in the
Apparently,
bathroom, but yeah.
apparently you can mix Kool-Aid, sugar, and yeast into a
Ooh,
2 liter
yes.
bottle, and then put like a balloon over it, and then like the balloon will expand, and
Yeah,
then it will like deflate, and then you've got like some toilet wine basically.
which is cool. Did you know you could take rust from a nail, uh, aluminum can, like a pop can, uh, and magnesium strip you find in your fire alarm, and you can make military grade thermite.
Uh,
I'm sorry, but did you say pop can?
Yeah,
I forget you're from that part of the country where y'all say pop instead of soda
soda.
can.
Well, I
I
say
had to like,
soda and
yeah.
yeah, double take. Like
It was funny because I don't think I've ever actually, talked to somebody who's like just nonchalantly said pop. Because I had to think about it. I was like, pop can. I was like, oh, yeah.
yeah, I don't think I have either. That's definitely what's another word? I've
Like,
heard fountain drink before.
oh,
yeah,
yeah, I say fountain drink.
fountain drinks
Really?
Um,
count.
That one's weird.
I'm from, I'm from a particular area. Apparently, it's like a small region, and we say cold drink. I'm gonna go get a
Oh
cold
yeah,
drink.
or get a hot drink,
You're gonna get a hot drink. You're gonna either call it coffee or
whatever it is.
whatever, hot chocolate. But like, no, it's just cold drink, and
Yeah,
it's beer or
yeah, whatever.
Coke,
Like a
whatever
cold one.
soda pop.
Hey,
It's like
speaking of drinks, have you guys heard of the new Coca-Cola that came out with coffee?
ew, ew,
Yeah, I'm
gross.
curious about that.
Coffee's
I'm not
gross.
I'm not a particular coffee drinker. Like I don't drink it, but like I will if I need to, you know, if it's available and I need to. Once in a blue moon, I'll like drink a cup of coffee if somebody's making it. But
You guys are gross. Coffee's
Apparently, it comes in
disgusting.
vanilla, caramel, and dark blend.
Ew. What the fuck? That's
I mean,
just
I just want to know
gross.
how energetic that's gonna make me. Like, is it double the caffeine, or is it the same amount of caffeine?
I'm sure it's probably going to be like, you know, a cup and a half or 2 cups worth of coffee. I mean, if you really want a caffeine rush, go buy you some dietary supplement pills. Those things are loaded with caffeine.
Okay, I just look it up. Apparently, it's double what's in a normal can of Coke.
Ooh, um, that's funny because what people don't think about is
The heart attack?
Mount. Well, that um, Mountain Dew, I think, has more caffeine than a Coke, or maybe it's just more sugar.
Yeah. I mean, I had a Rain, which is a energy drink for workouts, because I was working, and it doesn't have any. It has zero carbs, zero sugars, and zero fats in it, but it's got like 112 milligrams of caffeine in it.
Well, I just pulled up a caffeine chart. Yeah, I used to take when I was younger, I worked at this go-kart track, and they were called Stacker Threes, and
Oh,
they were quote unquote dietary supplements, but they had caffeine in them. And like
yeah.
each pill had like 200 and like 50 milligrams of like
Holy shit.
caffeine, which was like 3 or 4 cups of coffee worth.
Yeah.
I wonder
And
if
I
that's
would be,
more than an energy drink.
Well, the energy drinks I drank today. Here, let me do the math. I had two Rains, which have 100 and some, like, let's say 150 milligrams of caffeine each. So that's 300 milligrams. Uh, Monsters, I think, have 112. So that's another 224. And then uh, Game Fuel, I don't know how much has in it.
um, by the way, Mountain Dew does have twice the caffeine as a regular Coke.
Ooh, that's cool.
Whoa, really?
Yeah, I just pulled up a chart.
Huh, so there's no need to buy the coffee Coca Cola. Except maybe
Just
the
go buy
person
a
who
Mountain
tried
Dew.
it.
Yeah. I'm interested in like how that concept came, or is it like obviously it's
They were just sitting in a PR meeting, like, this coffee's good. And it's like, the guy's like, I got an idea. What if we put coffee in Coke? And they're like, shut up, Joe. And then a month later, he suggested skin. Like, a different guy suggested. It's like, oh, hey, Bill, that's a wonderful idea. Joe's like in the back, like, shut up, Joe. It's like, oh,
nobody likes you, Joe. Shut up.
okay.
Yeah, that's crazy. I'd like, is it gonna be so? I guess you would have to imagine it's either gonna be a sweet coffee
I would think
or
it'd be like an iced coffee.
that's what I'm thinking because that does have sugar in it. Um,
Yeah,
because you have coffee and regular, plain ass vanilla coffee is just bitter, but you can add stuff to it to make
like
it taste
creamer and
good.
stuff. Yeah.
Because for a second, I actually thought about unsweet Coke. Like, what would that taste like?
Oh,
And
Probably disgusting.
club soda. It would just really much be club soda. Did you know all soda is actually clear, like Sprite? It's all clear until they dye it a specific color.
oh yeah,
Really?
Yeah,
Hmm.
because if
they
you
add
look
a
at the
crystal Coke.
ingredients, yeah, Crystal Coke. Um, I remember there used to be invisible Kool-Aid,
Yeah.
Oh.
and
Oh, I think I
it
know that.
was it was just Kool-Aid without the food dye. And I remember a friend of mine had some, and he was like, "Hey man, you want to try some invisible Kool-Aid?" And I was like, "It's just water, dude." I was like, "The fuck are you talking about?" And he was like, "No," and poured me a glass, and like I took a drink, and I was like, "Oh," like
What the?
just picture what's his face from Back to the Future, Doc
Oh
Brown,
yeah.
just like, "Oh, by God, it's actually Kool-Aid."
By Scott. What's the
Great
saying?
Scott, that's it.
Yeah.
Yeah, Great Scott.
I mean, but like, I feel like it wouldn't taste the same without the red color.
That's why the Crystal Coke.
Like that's what
Because
gives it the flavor.
yeah, well,
Same
that's why
with Coca
Crystal Coke.
Cola. I'd probably be like, I don't know, doesn't taste the
Yeah,
same.
go ahead.
It's crazy to think that uh like fountain drinks, it's just syrup that gets mixed with like soda water.
Yeah,
Anybody who works in a restaurant will know that like um
they're syrup containers,
you
not.
just get, yeah, you just get boxes of syrup, and then like you have to mix it with the CO2, yourself.
Yeah,
It, or the restaurant does it or whatever. There's a whole setup.
it
And
takes like
like
30 minutes, if you know.
Sprite is my favorite like kind of
Go-to
like
drink.
soda drink,
Yeah, same actually.
but the only downside is anytime I go somewhere with a fountain drink machine is when they're out of Sprite, they won't know until somebody says something.
Yeah.
And then I hate like getting the Sprite and always make a point anytime I order a Sprite, that's the first thing I do is taste it before I pull off. And
Why?
'cause- so Sprite is the only, it's a clear drink.
Yeah,
So when the syrup runs out,
you don't
um,
know.
you don't
Makes
know.
it.
But like, because like with Coke or
Oh,
Dr. Pepper, any kind of like dark drink,
You'd
when you
notice.
start running out of the drink, you notice. You're like, why is this Coke not as brown as it should be? But with Sprite, it's clear. So you won't know until you taste it.
Yeah. Well, that's why I always get cans or just like
Ooh, speaking of, so
bottles.
what is your preferred, and this could be, you can have multiple answers for multiple drinks. What is your preferred way to drink a drink? Like bottled, in a can, or like fountain drink?
Uh, Hot chocolate and like those like with the little slits for the drinking part. I like
Yeah.
drinking like hot chocolate from there, like because it's super hot, but the amount that comes out is like the perfect amount, so it doesn't
Okay.
burn my mouth and it tastes really good. And it's nice and warm, so I can burn my insides. Right?
okay.
Nice.
For me, it depends on the beverage. So like orange Fanta has to be on a can because I feel like it just tastes different than from a bottle.
Well,
Um,
Yeah.
bottle, I
and
feel
then
like it has citrus.
Coca Cola tastes better in the glass. Like the have you ever had like the Mexican Coca Cola in the glass thing?
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Oh my god, those are so good.
Oh, have you guys ever had the what are they called? It's like a Mexican drink that is like in glass bottles. There's like 5 or 6 different flavors. Shit. And
It
Wait,
sounds
why?
familiar.
Yeah,
I
I
do want to
just can't think of.
mention one more beverage.
Go ahead.
The McDonald's Sprite. It's
Oh yeah,
like
that's good.
next level
I
Sprite.
Okay.
like that. Here's a weird thing. I like my Sprite flat.
That's
Ooh.
disgusting.
One thing I like about Sprite is that it can go flat and it's still not that bad.
Yeah, it tastes good actually because it's more
Like,
strong. Like the syrup's more strong without the
yeah.
fruity.
Yeah, that's definitely. It depends on the drink. Like, you mentioned McDonald's Sprite, McDonald's tea, McDonald's sweet tea. I don't know what it is, and I don't know if it's like different regionally or if like they make it, but like all the McDonald's around here, like when you get the sweet tea, it's
It
like
tastes really
just
good.
super sweet, and like I I don't mind like the the old tea taste if it's
Yeah,
only if it's from McDonald's because it's so sweet. Because some of those people probably don't clean out the tea urn,
yeah.
that often or whatever. But it's just so good. But like my hands down favorite like beverage is a peach crush
What
in a
is a
bottle.
peach crush?
That must be
Um,
regional.
Yeah,
well, you know Orange Crush, right?
yeah,
Yeah.
Like the Orange Crush drink. It's Fana's
yeah.
competitor. It's made by Pepsi, but they have a peach flavor,
Oh,
and It's
Never seen it.
like orange. Fanta does the best orange drink, but like Crush has the best like peach.
Yeah.
And like straight from a bottle, it's so crisp and it's got like I also like peach is my favorite flavor, but it's so crisp, has that peach flavor, and it's just like mwah.
Sounds good actually.
And then
Uh,
like for fountain
well,
drinks, I would say Mountain Dew if it's
well,
done
Mountain
right.
Dew's
Because
like yeah.
I like
Baja
the
Blast?
I'm not a Baja Blast.
Ah.
I just like regular Mountain Dew. Um, that and the Live Wire, which is the orange
What do
one.
you get when you're going to Taco Bell?
Mountain Dew,
Just plain old Mountain Dew.
just plain Mountain
I
Dew.
just feel like it's not a proper Taco Bell meal without the Baja Blast.
I want to say the Baja Blast is like, isn't it like Blue Powerade mixed with Mountain Dew or something like that?
I'm not sure,
I
but
want to,
it's amazing.
I want to say that like that's how it started. Was it was like somebody people would mix like Blue Powerade with Mountain Dew,
I mean, that would make
and
sense.
now
Um,
I'm curious.
you wanna know what a drink you should never drink flat though? It's an orange Fanta, because you can chase a citrus in it, and it's like,
Oh,
I don't know. I like citrus.
fun fact:
I don't
when
know.
I went to England, the Fanta over there actually tastes like oranges, and like the
Oh
color is
yeah.
lighter too. It's not like the orange you have here in the U.S. It's like a very light, almost yellow color.
Huh,
I was addicted to them.
interesting. You should have taken some
Um,
back with you.
I should have.
well, it's
You
funny
should have.
because I remember recently discovering that like, lemonade um in other parts of the world isn't like what we think of as lemonade. We think of just like the sugary lemon juice
Yeah.
and but like in Australia, apparently like they either I think like they just say like Sprite is what they call lemonade. And then in like England, they have lemonade, but it's carbonated.
Yep, pretty much.
And
That threw me off.
right. Yeah, so like when you order a lemonade, you get like the carbonated fizzy drink. And
You're like, huh? It's like, is this what I ordered? Help?
but it's just crazy though that
Yeah.
Try to explain it to a British person.
right?
They're like, well, that's what lemonade is.
Well, and apparently it's like that in like most parts of the world. So
Really?
like
Yeah. It's
um
just America. We spike everything with sugar.
right, so it's lemon juice made mixed with sugar. It's sugary lemon juice basically is what it is. You know how like we have orange juice and apple juice, but we just decided to call it lemonade, which personally I think ours is, the superior lemonade.
Well,
Oh,
of
yeah,
course.
definitely. Hands down, it is. Because a lemonade is always like, when you think of lemonade, you think of something like you make fresh. Like you get
Yeah.
fresh
Yeah,
Like
lemons,
juice
water. It's not
lemons.
something you buy bottled in a store. It's just something you make.
Yeah.
Well,
and it's
unless it's
like
that nasty
sweet
Minute Maid.
and it's like sweet and sour. And speaking of lemonades, I like Arnold Palmer's, which is like tea mixed with lemonade.
Ooh, yeah. Like hard lemonade.
Did you say carbonated lemonade?
Hard lemonade, I mean.
Oh, hard lemonade. Oh, um, ooh, I haven't actually. I was listening to another podcast, and they were, or no, I was watching something on YouTube, and they were talking about like Mike's Hard Lemonade, and
Yeah.
I was like, man, I haven't had like one of those in forever.
First,
So,
that was like my first alcoholic beverage as a teenager.
ooh, you know what my first alcoholic like drink was? It was Crown Royal and purple Kool-Aid.
Ooh,
Mine
that sounds really nice.
mine was straight vodka from the bottle.
Yeah, that'll
It put me on my ass.
that'll do it. especially some rock gut. Um,
Yeah.
Vodka used to be my liquor of choice until I became of age to purchase it.
No.
Then I switched to like whiskey. I personally like Hennessy or like
Ooh.
brandy.
Yeah.
Um,
Ooh, whiskey burns a little bit though going down.
right. Um,
Fireball's pretty good.
Jesus though, the amount of sugar in that.
Ugh. It reminds me of that like bubble gum, the red one. What is that called?
The red one.
Big Red.
Yes, there you go.
Yeah, just Big Red.
I hate that bubble gum.
Now, like, I gotta give it the Fireball. Like, it goes down smooth. Like, if I just want to like
Yeah.
drink liquor but not have the, I mean, hell, even Fireball gives me the like, excuse me, the shivers.
Yeah.
But it's not as harsh as like whiskey or
Like scotch. No.
yeah, and
Yeah.
tequila. Oh man,
Yeah.
tequila is the worst. Like,
Hey,
it's
you know,
good, but it's also
it's
the
hard.
worst.
Yeah. You only have a little bit of tequila.
Just a little bit.
uh, I mean, what if you had to drink? If you had alcohol of choice right now, what would you drink?
Um, I would just go with the classic, you know, a Miller High Life. It's the
Nice.
champagne of beers.
Yeah.
Hmm. I would have to go with amaretto with Dr. Pepper. It's like my
Ooh.
all-time
I'll have to,
favorite mixture. Yeah.
I've never had that. I'll have to try that.
Oh yeah.
I've had like I've had
Very cool.
amaretto sours, but
Ooh, I don't think I've had that one.
but never like amaretto and Dr.
Well,
Pepper.
it's like an almond liqueur, so like it sweetens the Dr. Pepper, so it just feels
Yeah.
like you're tasting extra sweet Dr. Pepper. That makes you feel really nice.
Hmm.
Ooh,
One thing I
interesting.
learned, never mix vodka and root beer. That that shit's gross.
Sounds disgusting.
Vodka and Coke's
Like,
pretty gross too.
Yeah, and yeah, never, yeah, just don't, just
don't
avoid
mix
that.
stuff with vodka.
One of the
I
first
remember,
college parties I went to, they were serving room temperature Coca-Cola with vodka. It
Ew.
was
oh
hard
God,
to swallow.
like I could see maybe like doing a chaser, but like not a mixed drink. Um,
Yeah.
that's just gross. I remember going to a college party and they made jungle juice so good you couldn't even taste the alcohol in it, and
It's the
after two
best.
cups you were trashed, like
I
rough.
so the first no, it was the second party I ever went to. It was like a huge ass party. So I brought a small bottle of I think it was vodka and well, you know the classical spike the juice bowl thing. Well, I
Right.
spiked the juice bowl, but then I mixed in like a cup of sugar with it, so it made it sweeter, so you couldn't tell much, and it went down pretty good. So you didn't notice. If you were looking for it, you would notice, but like just drinking punch, you wouldn't notice. So about like 30 minutes later, like half the like sports guys and stuff were like drunk as fuck and like and then they're like, I think someone sparked the punch, and I'm like, I wonder who. yeah, yeah, it was really fun actually.
Man, I can't remember the last time I went to like a good house party. It's been a couple years.
I've only been to one, and well, I spiked
And
the punch.
I was being a delinquent.
The last house party I went to was a Halloween party, and someone came as like an Italian guy, and he had this like giant thing of this giant sausage of like pepperoni, and like I remember at one point we were all so drunk that we were just upstairs taking turns, like taking a bite out of the pepperoni. It was like really good. I enjoyed it.
Like,
I
high
know, and at
quality
one
I
point
mean,
he's
pepperoni.
like, "Where'd my pepperoni go?" And it's just like already like halfway gone.
you gotta keep a full stomach when you're eating.
I
Yeah,
mean, it sounds good though right now.
I mean,
pepperoni with
oh, that
eight
does sound
like
good.
Like a
aged
stick of
pepperoni,
pepperoni.
like smoked. Like,
Oh,
have you ever had smoked pepperoni with like crackers and cheese?
Oh,
So good.
that just sounds good. Have any of y'all ever watched Trailer Park Boys?
No,
no.
I haven't actually.
Oh man, so I think it's still on Netflix, but it started out as like this Canadian show, and like it's just life inside of a trailer park,
Yeah.
and just typical shenanigans. I would say you don't, you're not missing much on the first season. Like you could start on the second season, and like you would be okay. Like,
Yeah.
but it's so hilarious. But one of the characters, like, they all have like their own gimmicks, and his gimmick is just, I say gimmick, well, their own thing,
Yeah.
and he just like roams around and like just has a stick of pepperoni, and like I've had pepperoni slices, but I've just never had like pepperoni stick, and I'm just like, man, could you imagine just like
It's better than the
pep
slices.
I've had a
pepperoni is just good.
I had a pepperoni like sausage roll, like it was like a whole link, and instead of like cutting it up
Ugh.
like a normal human being, I took a big old bite out of it and like, this is good. So I took another big old bite out of it. I just kept doing that, and then I realized, oh shit, I'm out of pepperoni.
You know what though? I worked in pizza, and one thing I could say is pepperoni tastes so much better before it goes through the oven. I don't know
Yes,
why.
like cold pepperoni.
Yeah.
Oh,
Mm-hmm.
it's so good. I too used to work at a pizza place.
Oh yeah,
And
that's
what I
right.
would do, I would just dip like cold pepperoni into like cold marinara and just like eat it, and like
I'm
it's the perfect snack.
I
I'm one.
used to what I used to do is I would grab a piece of salami, pepperoni, banana peppers, and some American cheese, fold it over in a little taquito, and just eat it that way
Hmm.
and snack on that during my shift.
Uh, I'm one of those weird people where I like eating things cold actually. So instead of warming the sandwich back up or like a pizza slice, I'll eat it cold, and
So
that just reminds me of that.
like when you cook something, like
Like
I
it's
forget what it's
leftovers.
like, all the flavor kind of starts um I forget
Going away.
what the word is, but like it gets to like saturate, and like it just tastes, you know, the
Yeah.
flavors just kind of like taste better when it's cold.
Well, I like things cold. I mean, it's weird. Like, I'll be in the middle of the night, like, stuffing my face in the fridge, like, some weird ass mongrel, like, and then I'll look up and someone's looking at me, and I'm like, don't mind me, I'm just, I'm just eating this thing.
Oh man, I used to just like go to the fridge and like open up the deli meat and just like eat
Oh,
cold
I
pieces
still
of
do
deli meat.
that. I do
I
that
mean,
with,
I do
like,
too.
roast beef and stuff. Like, oh, I got some roast beef. Don't mind if I do. No, what I like doing is uh fuck, I just spaced it. Never mind then.
Well
Oh,
then,
I like opening the fridge and staring into it. I saw a joke about it, but it was so true. It was like I'm just lowering my standards to eat what's in the fridge right now.
Oh, like every time you go and check on it, your standards get lower.
Yeah.
right.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. It's like, do I really want to cook this? And then it's like, man, I'm getting hungry. You go back and you look and like, I could cook this,
And then you
and
see like
then
the lunch meat and you're like, but that's so much faster and
I
like
could make a sandwich, right?
yeah.
I mean,
It's
that's
like
when I
fuck that. I
start
Like
guess
like grabbing my Uber Eats app, and then I just start contemplating, like, do I want to spend money, or should I just lower my standards just a little bit more?
I had to stop myself from like ordering like Uber Eats so much because it's like in the
it's
end
expensive as the
paying
once in a
like
while.
$30 for like a $15 meal or $10 meal.
Yeah.
And it's
Oh
just
yeah,
like and when I'm ordering, I feel obligated to order more because I know that I'm gonna be paying more. And yeah, so then I'm paying like $40 for a $25 meal.
you also get that like
Yeah.
small order charge if you order too little as well. That's how they get you.
I mean,
Hmm.
Yeah, and actually, if you ever pay close attention, most food on those apps is actually more expensive than if you were to show up in
Oh yeah.
person.
Yep.
of course.
Oh, it's a giant
Because
robot.
they have to get their money too. Well, or
More
Uber
money.
Eats, the app company has to get their money.
Yeah. Because
Most definitely.
the money goes to the driver for the most part, and then the other money that you spend while using the app is goes to Uber Eats or DoorDash or whatever the fuck you use.
What I will do is like this one app that I have or this regional app, you can order pickup. And so I'll order and then I'll just go drive and pick it up and
Yeah.
cut out the delivery person and like and it's funny because it'll still be like when I order delivery, it'll say like driver tip, but when you order pickup, it like says restaurant tip. And I'm like,
Fuck
well,
the restaurant.
who's who's getting this money? And I always never tip on restaurant because I know typically when you go to a place, they'll have, the little tip thing and
Yeah. Tip
the
jar.
money, the tip goes to who's ever
The
like
waitress,
working. But
waitress, or
Typically,
whatever.
just the cashier, not even the person that makes your food.
but the restaurant that I worked at, um, there was no like I think that money just when it said restaurant tip, that money just went to the restaurant. Like they just got some more money versus like it actually going to a delivery driver.
Yeah. That's cool. I mean, I don't know. I tend to tip more than I'm supposed to. Like, you know how you're supposed to tip like 15% or whatever? I go above that because I'm like, this guy was like, the last time I went, the guy was super nice to me. Like, he went and got me a drink that was like off menu and stuff. And I'm like, fuck it. He gets like more money.
Yeah,
Take my
always
money.
always tip. I
Yeah.
mean, it doesn't always have to be much, but
Anything is good.
a lot of these restaurants, they because of the laws, they can get away with paying like their servers. Like I think the minimum wage for a server is like 250 or something. So like
250.
they're already not making a lot of money hourly in the first place. And apparently it's only an American thing to tip. Um, because, greedy capitalism.
Those pigs.
Oh yeah, definitely. But one thing I did notice, I'm not saying it's a good thing in America, but like when I went to England also, the customer service over there was just garbage. Like I would go out and eat and like they wouldn't refill my water or like ask me if I needed anything, like and
It was just
sometimes yeah, they would just kind of put your food on the table and walk away and never be seen again. And I remember just like being kind of angry, but then kind of being like, wow, I'm just like so spoiled and entitled.
Well, I guess it's as shitty as it is that we have a tip system in America. I guess it does end up making the hustle to have good service.
more, yeah, inclined.
Yeah, more inclined. Yeah.
It's like almost an expectation as well, like to receive good service wherever you go, as opposed to other countries where like they're just there to give you your food. That's
Right,
it. They
because
don't have to do
that
anything extra beyond that.
right, because they're getting paid an hourly wage
Yeah,
anyway. And I guess as long as they're not like
Doing their
specifically
yeah,
rude or anything, just as long as they're doing their base
yeah.
job, then
They're just following their job description. If it's not in the job description, fuck it, they're not doing it.
exactly.
well,
It's just weird how we're like kind of like
We're spoiled in that way, but that's cool.
yeah.
I like being spoiled.
Yeah, that's
I'm
kind of the
spoiled in
good thing I
so
liked
many
about coming
ways.
back to the US is like I went to a restaurant. It's just like they really do treat you like royalty, honestly, when you go to a restaurant here. Like they're just like,
Yeah.
"Do you need anything else? Let me fill up your
Well,
water." Like
for the
hustling
most
for those
part.
tips.
Yeah, but some other places is just
Well,
trash
of
in
course, you're always
America.
going to get your trash, but for the most part, there's just
It's pretty
people
good.
hustling for that tip.
Yeah.
yeah.
So, on Valentine's Day, don't forget to tip everyone. And
Exactly.
yep, and I
Yeah.
think that concludes our second episode of our Shitty Questions podcast. I hope you all enjoyed it.
Woo!
Hey,
Woo!
Woo!
good riddance. Thanks for listening this long, you bitches, but thanks. I
Yeah,
hope you guys have a
thank
great
you
night.
for making it this far. And of course, don't forget to hit that like button. And, if you feel like it, hit the
Join the
subscribe button as
Discord.
well.
Yeah.
Join the Discord.
And
It's
yeah,
in this description.
yeah, exactly. We're making a new Discord. It's going to be really cool once we're done with it. But yeah,
You can submit your shitty questions, and we may or may not discuss them and then get off topic because.
why
Because
not?
of them. Yeah.
All right. Bye, everyone.